So in terms of the LTE roaming, what we have seen so far is compared to, or I would say over the last year, is that now we see more and more operators that are starting to be ready for LTE roaming. They're launching the LTE network, they're launching LTE roaming, and it takes some time for them to test and be ready for the service. So the first operator to make sure that the billing and everything works, that's something to overcome. Once that has been done, it's pretty much like testing 3D other services, and it's straightforward. Okay, I would say that it's vital to have that, because with the IPX, what we're doing is that we're moving away from where we have TDM today. We are migrating and moving ahead to IPX, which is an IP interconnect. And since all the technology we're using today becomes IP enabled, I would say it's all IP world, where we have signaling protocols, we have voice traffic and data traffic, obviously going over IPX, it's important that we do that. And with LTE, the protocols and all the technology that we're having is being carried by IP networks, so we need to have that. So rather than that, we have traffic that is going over internet, where we don't know and can guarantee the quality of service and the security in the same way as over the IPX, which is a private-owned IP network between all the operators and the carriers. That's how we connect, and that's the future of doing this. I absolutely think that is something that needs to happen. And when it comes to LTE roaming, for example, when we analyze the data of roaming users, roaming subscribers, we see that around 80 to 90% of roamers, if it's outbound or inbound, they actually switch off the data roaming because it has been too expensive in the past. And it's funny when we think of it, because we have had like a customer care department have told our customer for like 10 years, turn off the data roaming, it's too expensive, we don't want you to have a bill shock. Now our job is to educate operators to tell them, turn it on, because now it is affordable. And it's very much thanks to the EU regulation, where the prices has dropped significant and where it's today affordable. So for example, I come from Sweden here to Holland during this event, and I pay a fixed fee during the 24 hours, which is a bundle. And I know that there's a couple of my traffic where it's not going to be a bill shock or anything like that. And that wasn't the case a year ago. And that's where the whole market is going, where we see that it's affordable, we feel secure when we use our data roaming services. And that's something that is important also for LTE, because with LTE, we have up to 10 times faster data usage when we're using our services. So that's an important contribution that the regulation has to the growth of the data traffic and making it affordable, of course. It's in Europe, so the EU regulation is in Europe, and either we like it or not, it's happening. And I think we, as always, we have to think of our retail, our end customers at their best. They want to make sure that the service they're using is affordable and it's secure the way that they wouldn't get any bill shock if they're using their services abroad. And of course, it means that operators' revenue is taken away. Revenue streams looks completely different a few years ago to where it is today, where the margins are decreasing and so. But also we have to accept that this is where we're going. We see this over all services, it's not only data, this is for voice, and we see that there's a tough price competition going on in most countries, where we can now use data and voice and SMS to a fixed rate domestic per month. And also with the roaming rates, it becomes very affordable, very cheap to use that. So of course, we have to realize that this is where the whole market is going. It has been very good, since we had the opportunity to meet with other partners and operators and vendors. And especially when we meet with operators, we had this Monday, we have an open mind sharing session where we talked about magnetization of roaming revenue, how we can do that. And why that was important was because we can talk about, number one, the IPX, how that contributes to the whole industry, how we can connect and migrating away from IP, both to cut the cost, but also to make sure that we have a better interconnection and better connection for all the services and better stability. Secondly, it is that we have the LTE network, and that is to help operators to get launched and have the LTE roaming available. So you and I, for example, when we come here, we can use the LTE roaming services. And situation is that everyone can't use it today, but I hope that within a year or so, it's something much broader launched so that everyone can use it. And thirdly, what else is maybe most important, that is that operators have to find the revenue streams. For example, I mentioned earlier here that we see that 80% or 90% of the subscribers actually turn off the data roaming. So we need to work on analyzing data. This is what we discussed also, that with the big data analyzation, we can make sure that we can send offers to customers and tell them that they have a very good price for them to feel secure when they're roaming abroad.